Hey guys, Preston here and welcome back to another video. I'll admit this one is a first for me as I am doing an album review. I know this channel is mainly for like movies and TV shows, not that I've posted very consistently to make that point, but I think in my description somewhere I said it'd be about music too, so it's kind of just a general entertainment channel to be separate from my sports channel, so I just figured I'm doing some reviews and stuff currently for music. Figured I'd make a video version as well because why not? Give it a shot. So just a caveat, I am not a music expert or anything. I don't play. I don't potentially know all the terminology as everyone. So if you're coming here for like expert analysis, it's not what you're going to get. But if you're looking for just fan analysis, if you're maybe someone like me who just likes music in general, specifically in this case, like the rock and metal world and all the various subgenres, which I don't even know enough about. I like kind of the broad category. I'm not dug in the specific one, you know what I mean? So that's because today you saw from the title, we're going to be reviewing Bill Murray's newest album called Kinda Hard, which is fitting if you know anything about Bill Murray. So just to give you some insights here, I'm going to go through each track, actually, say just a little bit about it, score each one out of 10, and then kind of give a final wrap up at the end, and then the average score for the album. I take all my scores for the tracks, and then that average is the album score instead of just scoring the album separately or on its own without going track by track, because tracks make the album, So let's get started. The first track is called Kinda Hard. It's only a minute and 20 seconds, so it's just an intro, just like a heavy kind of fun intro to launch the album. There's no real lyricism or anything to it. There's no words. It might just be a few ad libs. So just to be clear, I don't grade the transition tracks. Like a lot of albums nowadays have like those 30 seconds to a minute and 10 seconds kind of deals where it's just a transition. So those won't be graded. Those aren't factored into the average album rating because that would be unfair. So the first real track is Twice, which is 3 minutes and 44 seconds long. It's definitely, it felt like textbook Bill Murray, very melodic and groovy. Keeps the fun, like chunky guitar riffs throughout the song. There's a saxophone section again that shows up this time around, which is always a welcome addition in my opinion. And, has the breakdown, has everything you kind of know about with Bill Murray. Just a fun, solid song to start the album. I gave that one an 8.4 out of 10. Track 3 is Worst Part of You. This track is, again, like a lot of these Bill Murray songs, even though if the vibe and the sound doesn't match it, the lyrics are always usually about relationship turmoil and emotional stuff. This is no different. A lot of these tracks will have that theme throughout, as you imagine. Very anthemic chorus on this one that it's like designed to be sung along to at concerts, I'd feel like. Definitely at least head bobbing. Percussion on this track was great and heavy. You could feel it the whole time is kind of how I describe it. Another classic breakdown in there. And yeah, it's just Bill Murray being Bill Murray. Even as going as far as ending on a barking sound is just like textbook Bill Murray, just peak Bill Murray. So we'll get into it later, but yet it's not like some crazy divergence for this band. That Bill Murray knows who they are kind of by now. They've had this sound nailed down for like the past year with some of the singles that ended up on this album. And I think they just stay in that lane. Right or wrong, I think for them it worked. So I gave this track an 8.7 out of 10. Rock Bottom is more, I don't know, it's a bit more traditional, I'd say. It just felt like more of a staple, kind of like maybe ode to like a 2000s radio rock or metal kind of song, if that makes sense. Like definitely more rhythmic. Johnny's vocals shine through this. His vocals are melodic all the time anyways, we know this, but yeah, they lack, there's not a lot of chaos in this song. There's not a traditional breakdown at all. In fact, they trade in a breakdown this time around for a guitar solo. This kind of make it more melodic and traditional throughout. So it is technically like a change of pace from some of the other stuff, but definitely gives off like that radio metal vibes. Not that, all their songs are pretty radio friendly, I guess you'd say. Like I said, I'm not judging because I don't care. I'm not one of the people that cares if something's too heavy or not heavy enough kind of deals. I just like good songs. This one is at a 7.1 out of 10 for me, though. I just simply didn't enjoy it as much as the previous tracks. And in track 5, this one had been out for a while. Obviously, the single came out back in like 2015. Sorry, not 2015. That'd be crazy. If I ever said 2015 in this video, I meant 2025. I was thinking like 2 seconds ago. But More Than Hate is another track. That's track 5, 3 minutes, 27 seconds. This one is honestly my favorite Bilmuri track I've heard. I'm not going to claim I'm a super fan of Bilmuri, but I've went back through the catalog, kind of not like start to finish each album, but probably like 25 to 35 songs of theirs by now. That might have been before going through this whole album, and More Than Hate is probably my favorite one by them. I just think it really pairs the dynamics between the vocals still being very melodic and catchy as all get out, in my opinion, paired with probably one of their heavier tracks instrumentally, with like 2 or 3 breakdowns in there and just chunky guitar work again and heavy percussion. I don't know. It's just a fun song. Lyrics are meaningful if you listen yet again, and it's my favorite one by them. I gave that track a 9.8 out of 10, actually. Track 6, Hard to Tell, 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Again, this is one that was a single, so it's been out for a while now, so I've got to hear it a bit more than some of the newer ones, so maybe there's bias there, because I do think stuff kind of grows on you, right? So I should caveat, a lot of these, if they weren't singles, it was for sure my first listen when I reviewed them. But regardless, Hard to Tell is another one I like a lot by them. Another infectious chorus, but it's very dynamic vocally, I'd say. Like, just they found a way to kind of change up the pacing and the vibes and everything with it, and it's just a fun track by them again. Kind of like their peak sound they found, and I gave that one a 9.5 out of 10. So very close to More Than Hate, actually, just not quite at that level for me. And yeah, I mean, maybe to you guys I'm too nice of a reviewer or too harsh a reviewer. I'm open to feedback in the comments. You can let me know what you think about this album or what other albums you would think I'd like or that you have been listening to recently. All that is cool to talk about and listen to. And I promise there'll be more facial hair next time. I just had to, don't worry about it. Track 7 is Where to Find Me, featuring Novelist. I'd say featuring, in the slightest terms. There's a very brief guitar solo that Novelist contributed to this song, which is cool because he held, like, on social media, he just asked people to submit guitar solos and he chose theirs, and that's how they actually got featured on their record. So that's a cool little backstory. Doesn't factor into the gradient of the song though. 2 minutes 45 seconds, so a bit of a shorter one. Again, this is another up-tempo, like, anthemic song, very high energy. Again, it kind of felt like sort of like a party 2000s rock song, which, like I said, I don't have all the proper terminology, so maybe I'm crazy saying that, but that's kind of just what I felt. Like I don't know if it's disrespectful to say Nickelback. I like Nickelback, actually, so it's fine. But yeah, just one of those, like, fun, supposed to kind of feel good songs with a little cool, brief guitar solo by Novelist. I said it kind of feels like another song that's kind of built for a live audience, if that makes sense. Excuse the window AC unit. I'm sorry about that. I gave that one an 8.5 out of 10. So another solid track, I think. Track 8, very unique name, Starfish Spreader, because it's Bilmuri. But yeah, that one's only 31 seconds, and again, it's very heavy for them, and it's just a transition to, like, wake you up, I guess. But and then they transition right into another uniquely named track 9, called Shite Fist. I'll say it that way, but it's spelled Shytfyst, so it's perfectly fine. 3 minutes and 6 seconds. It felt more country rock again, which I know they've had that vibe on and off through the years, and it's still not, like, I don't think they'd put it on CMT or whatever. Sorry, I don't know big country radio stations anymore. I don't know if there is any, but I don't think it'd end up on, like, a country playlist. But you can tell there's sort of like that country southern rock kind of vibe to this one again. I said it leans heavily into those sensibilities. Another song about relationship problems and, like, heartbreak and stuff, which again also fits the country mold. So that's why, not that it has to be country with those lyrics, as they've proven with the rest of their songs. Percussion stands out to me again. Just another song that's executed very well. The kind of polished hybrid pop rock metal kind of stuff that Bilmuri is known for. Just fun stuff. I had this one lower than some of the other ones though. 7.2 out of 10, which is still good. Because 5 is mid to me. I think that's still the way people should do it. And so If it's even a 5, doesn't mean I necessarily hate the song. I have, spoiler alert, I didn't give a 5 on this album, but you know, just saying for future reference or just to get a better idea of my grading system. Track 10 is one that I definitely heard already because it was another one of the singles, and that is Always Let You Down, featuring A Day to Remember. 3 minutes and 3 seconds long, this song. This one was interesting because it's not your standard feature. It's definitely more of a 50-50 collaboration. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you timed it. It might have literally been very close to 50-50 between both lyricists. Both vocalists, you'd say. But Jeremy from A Day to Remember actually starts the song, which is a cool change of pace again from what you expect from traditional features, like I said. And again, this one feels very kind of like 2000s metalcore, pop punk, whatever you want to call it. Like, honestly, the best way to describe it is it felt more like a Day to Remember record than a Bilmuri record. And not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm sure there's a lot of crossover and stuff. But yeah, it's just a fun song, you know, serious lyrics again, but a fun throwback kind of track that harpens to like an earlier era of the genre. Their vocals work well together. I don't think they do like a bunch of harmonies or anything, but they still play off each other well. And it was a fun song ultimately, and I gave that one an 8.9 out of 10. So nothing wrong with that one at all. 13 track record, by the way, which is, I think, pretty normal nowadays. You know, sometimes they're even 10, but 13 with the 2 transition tracks, it's basically an 11 track record. So including, you know, songs that came out over a year ago. So kind of your normal what you expect from albums nowadays, I'd say. Track 11 is titled Back Then. This one's only 2 minutes and 44 seconds again. This is another one that's kind of on the softer side, slower, weighted guitar tone. Again, like more lyrics about relationship fallouts and stuff like that. That's Johnny's lane with lyricism, which is fine, you know. It's actually kind of a nice change of pace because with a lot of rock and metal, there's plenty of sad songs, but it's more about like inner turmoil and depression and stuff, you know, all that fun stuff. So actually getting the heartbreak lyrics, it's a little like bringing country lyricism to rock and metal. So that's always sort of unique in a wider scope. Inside this album, it's not unique. It's pretty much all the songs, but it works for them. Anyways, like I said, yeah, kind of softer song, undeniably catchy still, and it fits their sound, just rather safe and formulaic on Back Then. Back Then was my least favorite track on the album. I still gave it a 6.5 out of 10, though, because it was objectively still good, in my opinion. Like, it's listenable. I just don't think I'll be going back to it as much as other tracks on this record. Track 12 is Honest, 2 minutes 52 seconds. This one is sort of a nice sonic reset. Like I said, Bilmuri knows their sound, so it's not like totally different. It's not like they just dropped a death metal track or a pure country or hip hop track, but they do they bring the saxophone in a more prominent role than the first song that had it. Like, it's brought on like 2 or 3 times. Nice kind of like dun 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 rhythmic pulse to this one, if that makes sense. Unique in a way to where the peak instrumentally, like when that hits, it's actually right after the chorus instead of during the chorus. You normally hit that peak instrumentally, so that's kind of a unique or just different element to this song, if that makes sense. Good God, I'm sorry, dry mouth and gum. I'm just not speaking right anymore. The vocal tempo was different on this one too. It definitely felt like a faster song in terms of how fast the vocals were coming out and the pacing of all that. Lighter guitar work hints in there. Just a nice kind of change of pace, but it's still Bilmuri, you know that. I mean, vocals alone, you know it's Bilmuri. Gave that one a 7.8 out of 10. And then track 13 is actually titled Waves, and it is 3 minutes 14 seconds. Final song of the album, poignant, you know what I'm trying to say. Poignant and atmospheric closer that trades in the like high octane energy of most of the album for a more raw and emotional. I think I describe it as a rock ballad. I know technically people might disagree, but that's kind of what it feels like, and that's like the vibe it's going for, is more of a ballad this time around. So stripped back guitar to start, and it slowly builds up throughout the song, including a nice like kind of hit moment instrumentally around the 2 minute mark, which is not heavy. Like, it's not a breakdown in terms of, you know, this typical stuff you hear from a breakdown, but it explodes and is a nice sonic element to this song, if that makes sense. There's some female backing vocals at times that kind of play into the vocal harmonies and the melodic elements of this song that fits really well. And there's just a grounded and kind of sincere resolution to the album. Just a nice ballad to sort of mix things up again as well, like I said. So overall, I give that an 8.6 out of 10 if I didn't say it. So averaging up the gradable songs and dividing it by themselves, we got an 8.3 out of 10 is my album grade. That's a would recommend for sure by me. I'd say it's a must recommend for anyone craving the kind of blend of technical instrumental and like the gritty instrumental stuff with the polished melodic vocals that Johnny Frank has over and over again. You know, it's kind of the vibe. You know what you're getting with Bilmuri. So if you know Bilmuri, you'll like the record. If you don't know Bilmuri, then you'll listen to a song or two and then you'll know, because it's the vibe you're gonna continue to get, is kind of how I describe it. Yeah, More Than Hate was my favorite song on the record with 9.8 out of 10, while back then only got a 6.5 out of 10 by me. The consistency is undeniable, though. It's just a very well executed project that shows Bilmuri has found its lane and continues to execute it perfectly. So also, forgive me when you see me looking down, it's because I'm going back over my written review of the album to help summarize it for you guys for the video format. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on Bilmuri's album, or Bilmuri in general. Even if you want to go song by song, you know what my grades are. So anything you disagree with or agree with, I'd be curious to know. Any other albums you want me to review or just want to talk about, feel free to comment below as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.